Oh, I don't even, I don't even, I don't even know what to say right now. The hypeness in my body is jumping out. I cannot believe the game we just got gifted on a Saturday night. You guys know we are on a mission to try to get to 25,000 subscribers. We are getting closer and closer to that goal each and every day, but we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this and you're enjoying the streams as well too, then please do me a favor. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. My goodness, I don't even know where to begin. Talk about a game that we shouldn't have won. Now, I understand it's the Washington Wizards, a team that's one of the worst teams in the league, actively trying to tank, and the Knicks have no business being tied with them at halftime, nor having no business going back and forth with them with baskets. But unfortunately, that was the tale of tonight's game. And if you were like me watching the game going into that fourth quarter and you saw the Wizards building up that lead and it getting higher and higher, you started to think that maybe the Knicks were going to let this game slip away because it was a back-to-back. One player on this team that said, I want this game. I want this win streak, and I am never going to let it go. I don't care how bad it looks. He would not let us lose. He did not let us lose. And when the game was on the line in that final quarter, we're down 5 points. Who scores the final points in regulation? Because I'm thinking it's the captain, Jalen Brunson, never letting us down. Always keeping us in the game, getting us into overtime, our first OT of the season. And once we get there, we handle business. Thanks to Josh Hart. Thanks to Karl-Anthony Towns. Thanks to finally the Knicks playing some defense down the stretch, getting those stops, hitting those buckets, closing out the game. And yes, I said it before, but I'll say it again. 7 straight. The Knicks have won 7 straight games. And it's because of Jalen Brunson in a game we should have lost, in a game we played no defense in. Jalen did not let us lose this game. He put the Knicks on his back. He helped us win this game, and he dropped 55 points. He dropped it on the Wizards. He helped us win this game, and now the Knicks are riding a 7-game win streak. We're going to break down exactly how the Knicks and Jalen Brunson did this, but also why the game was so close in the first place and why we have to clean a couple of things up as we face them again come Monday. All of this and a lot of other things we're going to cover today. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Have those notifications turned on so anytime we do this or get you any new content, you get notified. Now, let's get started. Jalen Brunson drops 55 and wills New York to a win over the Wizards. The Washington Wizards are one of the worst teams in the league. If you would have bet me money tonight that the Knicks would have been in overtime with the Washington Wizards, who are missing Kyle Kuzma, who are missing Jordan Poole, who are injured, actively trying to tank, and one of the worst teams in the league, you probably would have stole a lot of my money because I would have probably bet a lot of it because I thought the Knicks going into Washington, after what they just did in Orlando, I thought that they were going to dominate Washington and destroy them from start to finish. But honestly, that's not what we saw. I think we saw, but you know what I am going to say? Because time and time again, each and every post game, I do say this. It's a half-to-half tale, right? First half, the second half. This time around, I'm actually not going to say that because unfortunately for New York, consistently, their defense was absolutely horrendous. Their defense was not good at all to start the game, to close the game, and really, it was some plays down the stretch defensively that allowed us to win this game. If we break down what happened in that first quarter, it's the same exact thing with the New York Knicks. Now, I don't know if they do this by game plan or not, but the Knicks seemingly have a way of trying to figure out what the other team is going to do in the first quarter. It's like a feel-out process. They feel it out for the first 6 minutes. The last 6 minutes, they kind of catch up with the game. They did the same thing again tonight. Similar to what they did with Orlando the night before, it's like they're figuring out their game plan on the fly. But here's the craziest thing of all. The Knicks are tied with the Washington Wizards going into halftime, I should say, 61-61. Orlando the night before, 54-54. Both times tied at halftime. I'm not sure why the Knicks are doing this. It's like sometimes we're playing down to the competition or just not playing our game. It's taking us a while to play the level of defense and the level of offense that we normally would play. And that's not something this Knicks team needs to do. As a championship contender, you need to be locked in from start to finish. And that's probably the only critique along with the defense that I have tonight. But you saw the defense was porous all throughout the entire game. I mean, it was basket for basket a lot of the game. Third quarter, basket for basket. So much so that when the Knicks started missing shots, which did happen to close out the third, the Wizards were almost on a 10-point lead on us. I think they were up 10 points or 9 points, something like that. They were scoring in bunches, and we didn't really have an answer. Going into the fourth, our defense got a little bit better, but not for a long period of time. Maybe a few minutes, and then it dropped. And then we were still playing not that great defense. They were still taking advantage of what we were giving them inside. Attacking, open three-point shots really killed us tonight. And honestly, the Knicks should have never been in this game. There is no reason for New York to have won this game. The way we played defense, the way we allowed the Washington Wizards to run inside all night. Every single time you could see Justin Champagna, whatever his name is, that kid underneath the basket, open time and time again, running the exact same play for him. And these are things the Knicks are going to have to clean up. Like I said earlier, with the way the Knicks played tonight against the Washington Wizards and the level of defense that we gave, this is a game the Knicks should have absolutely lost. The reason they didn't lose is because of one player. Well, it was a team effort at some point, but one player in particular would not let this game go. And the crazy part is he was scoring in the first quarter, didn't score in the second quarter, came in to the 55 points. He dropped 55 points in the game to give the Knicks the win and allow us to extend our win. Washington looked like they wanted it a little bit more. They were giving more effort. Jalen would never accept that. He did not accept that. He continued to play, continued to be aggressive, continued to attack, get to the line. We were able to close out the Washington Wizards, win this game, and now we are riding a 7-game win streak. The Knicks tonight, 136 points scored in overtime to the Washington Wizards. 132 points for them. So you can see the quarter-to-quarter breakdown. The New York Knicks in the first quarter scored 32 points to the Washington Wizards 33. In the second quarter, they scored 28 points to the Washington Wizards 27. And then, and that's basically the quarter-to-quarter breakdown there. You can see it. In that first half, they were neck and neck with the Washington Wizards. That's because the defense was not being played. Now, for everything that Karl-Anthony Towns was doing on offense, and he was very good on offense. Honestly, if Jalen Brunson didn't drop 55 points, we might have been talking about Karl-Anthony Towns again because he had a very good game, especially going into that second half. I thought he had a very good second quarter as well, but that first quarter, again, didn't do too much. And defensively, the overhelping by the Knicks on defense was on full display. It wasn't only Karl-Anthony Towns. We saw OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges also overhelp a few times, and that hurt the Knicks inside with their defense. It got taken advantage of. They were attacking inside, penetration, creation, throwing that ball out to an open shooter, and the open three-point shot was really hurtful tonight for the Knicks. Every time we allowed it, they were shooting them, and because they were open, they were making them. Going into the second half, though, we saw the Knicks score 30 points in the third quarter, but the Washington Wizards scored 38 points in the third quarter. The Knicks defense was probably getting worse and worse in that third quarter before Jalen Brunson started to turn it on and tried to keep us in the game. But before that happened, all we saw was the Washington Wizards abuse the Knicks from the three-point line and then try to attack inside. And likely, if they were attacking inside, they were getting whatever they wanted. There was almost no, They were getting almost anything they wanted. There was almost no resistance. And again, it was trading baskets. I don't know about you guys, but when I watch the Knicks, I never like to see this team, my Knicks team, trade baskets with the Washington Wizards, one of the worst teams in the league. But Jalen, not Jalen Brunson, not the captain. Tell him no. Tell him you're not going to win this game. Jalen would not accept it. Jalen would not think it's okay. Jalen did everything in his power to make the Knicks get to OT. And once we got there, we sealed the game, sealed the victory, and Jalen Brunson did it by scoring 55 points. I mean, my goodness, this is exactly what you want to see your superstar point guard do. And I don't know another way to say it. He is a superstar. These are superstar numbers. He gave you 55 points. That's a career high second for him. The second highest in his career. 42 in the second half. 18 of 31 from the field. Extremely efficient. 9 assists. Jalen Brunson scored 55 points tonight against the Washington Wizards. He has now registered his third 50-point game as a Knick, which is tied with Richie Guerin for the second most in franchise history. The second most 50-point games in franchise history belongs to Jalen Brunson, who gave you 55 tonight in an OT victory, a win against the Washington Wizards. And maybe some people may not like the way Jalen Brunson shot from three. Honestly, I don't like the way the Knicks shot from three. But this is a proven point. Some nights, the Knicks are not going to have it from three. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do when your team can't shoot threes, when you're not able to hit threes? What's the next thing? Attack. Be aggressive and trust your stars. Tonight, more than anything else, more than any other night, the Knicks trusted their stars. Jalen Brunson got us there, put this Knicks team on his back, and we are talking about a Knicks victory because of him. But I said it before. I said it earlier. If New York didn't get that performance out of Jalen Brunson, let's say he scored 20 points less and only had 35 points, we would have been talking about the other all-star on this team. And that all-star is Karl-Anthony Towns. Let me just say this. Towns didn't have his best game against Orlando the other night. Honestly, they played him very aggressively, and he probably had one of his worst halves as a Knick, at least in my opinion. This game, he had a point to prove. He was frustrated a lot. He was getting fouled, obviously getting pushed, getting hit on the arm, no fouled calls. But you know what? He didn't care. He focused, he locked in, and he started taking his passion and aggression out on the game, out on the ball, and more importantly, out on the Wizards. This was a matchup he should have dominated. He didn't really do that in the first half as much as I would like. But in the second half, he knew what time it was. It was Karl-Anthony Towns' time, and he dominated, absolutely dominated. Karl-Anthony Towns tonight, 30 points, 13 of 19 from the field. Again, extremely efficient, 14 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, OT thriller win thanks to Karl-Anthony Towns. And those blocks, they came up clutch. Shout out to Josh Hart, came to play tonight, did what he needed to do in his hometown of DC. Hometown returning here for him. 13 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, plus 6 game best for him. Again, Josh Hart is always going to do Josh Hart things. Every time you need a rebound, he's going to get you the rebound. Every time you need an assist, he's going to get you an assist. He's going to pass the ball. He's going to score buckets. I mean, Josh Hart is the type of player you need in overtime. I bet you a lot of teams wish they had a Josh Hart in OT because Josh Hart never stops. There is no off button with Josh Hart. He continues to go, continues to play, and continues to be a force. And that's what you got to love with Hart. And for me, one of the best players of the game tonight. He was overshadowed, and obviously he should be, because Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, they were the heroes tonight. But when you look at the box score, +6, which is a game best, you don't only get a game best because you go into the game and you don't really have an impact. You just get a couple of rebounds. He had a double-double, by nearly affecting every play in the game. His defense tonight, outstanding. Outstanding defense. And you're not going to see it in the box score. But when you watch the game, you understand how hard and how much heart Josh Hart plays with. When you look at the minutes breakdown here, I mean, look at every single starter compared to the bench and the DNPs. This is something you need to understand. Mikal Bridges, 47 minutes. The other game, he played 44 minutes. So this is a crazy trend here for him. OG Anunoby, 42 minutes. Karl-Anthony Towns, 44 minutes. Jalen Brunson, 44 minutes. Josh Hart, 39 minutes. Achua, 19 minutes. Campaign, 6 minutes. McBride, 19 minutes. Landry Shamet, 6 minutes. So obviously extending to a 9-man rotation, but obviously the minutes are not being extended out to at least Payne or Shamet to a level that you'd want to see as of yet. I think everybody on the bench could probably play up to 15 minutes while the starters got some more rest. You obviously got DNPs all throughout there for Matt Ryan, Jacob Toppin, Jericho Sims, Ariel Huckporty, Tyler Kolek, and Pacome Dadier. And those were to be expected. I didn't expect Campaign to again play so low minutes. I don't know if he's out of the rotation now with Landry Shamet being back, but it is something to note that he only played 6 minutes against the Magic and then again tonight. I thought that the rotation between Mikal, Shamet, and Payne would play more minutes just because of chemistry, but maybe he's not doing that because of the lineup being a little too small. Maybe he's waiting, maybe just because of the competition level and the fact that he can't really run it yet. Not too sure why, but I do anticipate that changing. It does need to change, though. Again, I'm not going to kill him for the minutes being played. This was overtime, so obviously the minutes are going to be higher for every player in the game, so you have to factor that in for all of the starters as well, too. The other thing here is the fact that Mikal Bridges was 8 of 14 from the field. He had 21 points. He had 3 assists and 3 rebounds, 3 of 9 from the field in terms of the three-point shot, and 8 of 14 from the field, like I said before, overall. So again, Mikal Bridges, another game, another efficient game, good defense, a good scoring game. I mean, Mikal Bridges in the month of December, if you just wipe away what that month of November was for him, he's been one of the better Knicks that we have on this team. He is doing everything that you want to see him do. Scoring, stealing the ball, playmaking, it's all taken a step forward. He has finally understood his role with this team. He is not forcing anything. And when he gives this team the level of impact that he's been giving us, especially on offense, when he's getting that 3 ball on a curl and then shooting it and not even thinking about it, no hesitation, it's really a benefit, a real treasure to have a player like Mikal Bridges on your team to be able to do that for you. OG Anunoby, even though the box score is not going to say it because offensively, not that great, 4 of 12 from the field, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 of 5 from 3, but his defense, again, otherworldly, continues to play elite defense, so we have to acknowledge that. With Karl-Anthony Towns, also something to acknowledge there is the 3 personal fouls, so not in foul trouble again tonight. Very, very big difference from where it was against Orlando, and that was another reason why the Knicks were able to benefit, because one of their best offensive players was able to stay into the game, play a lot of minutes, and contribute. So other things to look at there. Going back to the team stats, though, I want to mention again, 51.5% from the field for the Washington Wizards, 52.6% from the field for the Knicks. So clearly, the Knicks shot very well, but the Washington Wizards shot just as well. But you don't like to see that from one of the worst shooting teams in the league and one of the worst teams in the league. The Knicks allowed that to happen because they allowed them to do everything. The 3-point shooting is really where the main difference is here. 25% from 3 for the Knicks. Very similar to what they did against the Orlando Magic, isn't it? I think against Orlando it was 26. So they managed to do worse shooting from 3 against the Washington Wizards. Don't even ask me how that's possible. 44.7% from 3 for the Washington Wizards. We allowed them to shoot a lot. Turnovers, we did a little bit better this game. 15. I'd like to see that closer to 11, but 15 is better than 19, so I'll take that. Turnovers for the Washington Wizards, 17. And the boards, I mean, we got out-rebounded by the Washington Wizards. As we're looking at here, and as you can see, the Knicks put up 97 shots. We allowed the Wizards to put up 99 shots. The Wizards shot 17 of 38 from 3, a lot of those uncontested. That's how they had 44.7%. The Knicks were shooting 10 of 40 from 3. That's how you get to 25%. From the free throw line, and that's how the Knicks kind of stayed into the game right there. Shout out to Jalen Brunson, who had 17 of those 26 free throws. The Knicks shot 24 of 26 from the free throw line, so way better from the free throw line this time around. They definitely didn't leave the line. They definitely didn't leave the game at the line, so that's good. And then the Wizards, 13 to 15. Rebounds, like I said, 44 to 43. Assist number, 26 assists for the Knicks and 32 assists for the Washington Wizards. Way better than that 18 passing game that we had against Orlando. 26 is a lot better, though I don't like to see that the Wizards had 32. Penetration and creation was a main reason for that. Something else to take a look at is the fast break points. Normally, the Knicks are winning that, but tonight, the Wizards are able to take advantage, and they were able to beat the Knicks on that end 18 to 14. And I think we were able to win on that in the first half, but then in the second half, Washington was able to respond, and they were running a lot more and attacking the Knicks. So you saw that as well. Points in the paint, the Knicks were dominate there, 78 to 60. So you know when you dominate like that inside the paint, you're going to give yourself a better chance to win any game. But when you're dominating inside the paint and you're not making threes, that's kind of why you have to dominate in the paint, because you can't really make any other shot. And looking at the shot chart, this is where things get very interesting. Obviously, the Wizards in red, the New York Knicks are in navy here. The Washington Wizards and their threes, an abundance of threes, a lot more of them made. The Knicks, similar threes, but not as much made. Isn't that the whole story of the entire game? Isn't that the main story in most modern NBA games? Shoot more threes, likely win the game. That normally is the story, but not for the Knicks tonight. Not because of JB, not because of the captain, who would not let this Knicks team lose. Yes, the stats may say the Knicks should have lost this game. Yes, the three-pointers allowed may have said the Knicks should have lost this game. Yes, the shot chart and everything the Knicks allowed the Washington Wizards to do maybe would highlight the Knicks might have slipped this game or shouldn't have taken home the W. But they didn't account for Jalen Brunson. They didn't account for Karl-Anthony Towns. They didn't account for our two all-stars going off, not letting us lose this game and making sure we made it 7 games straight. Jalen Brunson starting to enter legendary status. If you didn't think he was a superstar, put the crown on his head, call him the king of New York, and give this man his star. Jalen Brunson is a superstar. And every time you think he's not, he does superstar things that lets you understand why he is absolutely part of that conversation. He pulled up to Wingstop and he said, you know what? Come in the car with me. I'm going to go to the drive-thru and I'm getting 55 pieces for everybody. Your players and the players in the back. You got to love Jalen, man. Knicks, 7-game win streak. Where you at, NBA? Where you at, NBA? Where you at, NBA? Let's go! We're not going to forget how close this game was. And the next game we play against you on Monday, we are dominating, destroying, blowing you out like we should have done tonight, making it 8 straight games and going into the new year as happy as possible. But what about you guys? What did you think about tonight's episode? What did you think about tonight's game? What did you like about tonight's game? What did you not like about tonight's game? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for tonight's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.